Hello learners, welcome to MAGKAT-ON Corner. In this video, our lesson is about the human person in the society. Aristotle once said that the human person by nature is a political being. As a being of society, the philosopher explained that human person creates society and society also creates the human person. There can be no society without human persons, just as there can be no human persons without society. This inseparable relationship can be illustrated as follows. Basically, the human person is a member of a family, the smallest unit of society. The family grew into clan, the clan into tribe, the tribe into nation, and nation into state. A state is a society or community of persons more or less numerous, permanently occupying a definite portion of a territory, independent of external control and possessing an organized government to which the great body of inhabitants render habitual obedience. With the foregoing illustration, society therefore is a large, independent, and organized group of people living in the same territory and sharing a common culture and heritage. But how do societies undergo development? Historically, society has 5 evolutions, which are hunting and gathering societies, agricultural societies, industrial societies, modern societies, and virtual societies. Let us discuss each of these, starting with hunting and gathering societies. This is the simplest and the earliest form of society, characterized by a lifestyle that was dependent on resources readily available from their surroundings. These societies were often described as primitive. Number 2, agricultural societies. The societies during agricultural form were engaged primarily in agricultural activities such as farming, fishing, and livestock raising as their primary way of life. This was the time where people have gradually learned to work for their living and did not just depend on the readily available resources in their surroundings. Number 3, industrial societies. The societies during industrial form were centered on mechanized production and the exchange of goods and services. This was the time where people learned to invent mechanical or motorized vehicles and machines to aid in the production of their goods and services. Number 4, modern societies. The societies during modern form were technologically advanced, characterized by industry, mass production, and advanced communication and transportation. In modern societies, industries were technologically advanced. There was already a massive production, more advanced communication, and enhanced transportation. And number 5, virtual societies. These societies are products of the advances in technology that are composed of individuals coming from various social backgrounds such as those found in social media, online message boards, and online games. This is our present society, the product of the modern society characterized by the flourishing of different social media platforms, online message boards, and online games. Forms of communications are even more advanced because this present society is an era of information and communication technology. Now that we already know the evolutions of society, it is also a must that we will discover how society originated. The origins of the formation of society. Humans are considered to have a natural tendency to cooperate and organize, and society is a natural outcome of this human tendency to socialize. With a society as a product of the human person's natural tendency, there must be theories on its origins of formation. Philosophers such as Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau were among the most prominent social theorists who tackled the origins of human society. These philosophers imagined humans as living in a so-called natural state, or the state away from modernity and civilizations, in order to understand fully the true character of society. We will discover first the theory of Thomas Hobbes. For Thomas Hobbes, man in his natural state is governed by his desires, and these often lead to conflict with his fellow men. Society, therefore, is the means by which men seek to control their natural tendencies and impose order. Hobbes believed that if humans are put in a state of nature, that is, without any form of government whatsoever, they would be in a permanent state of chaos, inasmuch as human beings are naturally selfish and immoral. So, he believed that the ideal form of government was an absolute monarchy, so as to put supreme power to the king or to the monarch, and the people does not have any right to go against whatsoever. Individuals who establish societies enter into a social contract as an agreement where individuals sacrifice some or all of their wants and submit to a higher authority. In this way, society is able to function and meet the needs of the many, ensuring the survival of humanity. This is the theory known as social contract theory, whereby an agreement or a contract must be set between the individuals in the society and the higher authority, that the people should submit to the power of the monarch in order to maintain social order. Another social contract theory viewed as consent of the governed is by John Locke. For him, men in their natural state are more cooperative and reasonable, and that society is formed through the consent of the individuals that organized it, a concept known as the consent of the governed. Locke's social contract is a covenant among individuals to cooperate and share the burden of upholding the welfare of society. Also, the authority established to run society should reflect the ideals of the people who organized it. Should this authority fail to uphold its obligation or live up to the ideals of the people, it will be discarded and replaced with a new one, because Locke believed that the government's legitimacy comes from the citizens, hence the idea of consent of the governed. And lastly was a social contract theorist, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. For Jean-Jacques Rousseau, the concept of the social contract is a general will, where even if the people are the ones who organized society and established an authority or government, in extreme cases, the government is able to impose its will on the people. The concept of the general will is based on the assumption that the people have empowered the government to act on their behalf, and that it is considered to be the best judge of what is most beneficial for society. To him, popular sovereignty, or the sovereignty of the entire society, must decide on what is good for the whole and not the individual liberty. Again, the three ideas of social theorists on the formation of societies are: for Thomas Hobbes, social contract; for John Locke, consent of the governed; for Jean-Jacques Rousseau, general will. The key takeaway from this lesson: society is not constant. It is an evolution of periods, with each form having its own characteristics that showed a kind of subsistence the people have in their particular time. Furthermore, there can be no society without human persons, just as there can be no human persons without society, because human person creates society, and society also creates the human person, whereby different society is shaped by the kind of social citizenry it has and by the kind of civil society it has developed into. To recapitulate, the evolution of society are: thank you very much for watching, and please consider subscribing.